Hello, grade 7. In this video, we are going to check the exercises in the workbook for lesson 3, eclipses and tides. Your workbook page 211, 212 and 213. The first exercise. Define umbra and penumbra, then label the umbra and the penumbra on the diagram below. So, the answers to these two questions are found in your book, page 745. Of course, you can use your own words, but it has to be scientific definition. So the umbra is the central, darker part of a shadow in which light is totally blocked. The penumbra is the lighter part of a shadow in which light is partially blocked. And the umbra is the darker part, as you can see in the figure. The penumbra is the other shadow that is a bit lighter than the umbra. Number 2. Compare information about solar eclipses. The answers to these questions are on page 746. First, the definition of solar eclipse. It occurs when the moon's shadow passes over Earth's surface. The phase during which a solar eclipse can occur is the new moon. A total eclipse when the moon appears to completely cover the sun. As for the partial eclipse, the sun appears partially covered by the moon. Now, label the diagram of a solar eclipse. Use these terms: sun, earth, moon, umbra, penumbra, total solar eclipse, and partial solar eclipse. The answers to this question are on page 746. So, the area covered by the penumbra views a partial solar eclipse, and the area covered by the umbra views a total solar eclipse. As for the labels, this is earth, and this is moon, and this is the sun. So we have a solar eclipse. The penumbra is the light shadow, and the umbra is the dark shadow. Explain why solar eclipses do not occur every month. The answer to this question is on page 747. So the moon's orbit is slightly tilted compared to that of Earth. For this reason, during most new moons, Earth is neither above or below the moon's shadow. It has to be exactly above or below the moon's shadow, so this is why it doesn't happen every month. Now, organize information about lunar eclipses. The answers to this question are on page 748. Definition. A lunar eclipse occurs when the moon moves into Earth's shadow. The phase during which it can occur, full moon. The total eclipse, the entire moon passes through Earth's umbra. The partial eclipse, only part of the moon passes through Earth's umbra. Explain why you can still see the moon during a total lunar eclipse. This is on page 748. Some sunlight is deflected by Earth's atmosphere into Earth's umbra, and this is why you can see the moon during the total lunar eclipse, though it is in the umbra of the Earth. Organize information about tides. The answers are on page 749. Definition. A tide is the daily rise and fall of sea level. Now, the forces that causes tides: moon's gravity. Where low tides occurs between the tidal bulges. and where high tide occurs at the tidal bulges. How often high tide occurs? Twice a day. Compare spring tides and neap tides. Draw the position of the moon, the sun, and the earth during a spring tide and a neap tide. The answers are on page 750. So, the moon phases during which they occur, its full moon and new moon for the spring tides, and its first quarter and last quarter for the neap tide. The drawing should show the sun, the moon, and the earth in a line with the high tidal bulges on earth in a line with the moon. This is for the spring tide. And for the neap tide, the drawing should show the sun and the moon at right angles with earth and smaller tidal bulges in line with the moon. If you go back to the video in which we explained the tides, you can see that we said about the spring tides, spring like straight, so the three objects, which are sun, earth, and moon, should be on a straight line. As for the neap tides, neap like 90, so there have to be a right angle. Suppose that the moon were smaller in size but greater in mass than it is now. How would that affect solar eclipses and tides? You can have many answers. One of them is because the moon would be smaller, it would no longer completely cover the sun during an eclipse. Therefore, total solar eclipses would be impossible. High tides would be higher and low tides lower than they are now because more mass would mean greater gravitational force. Thank you very much.